UFC, the ultimate fighting sport. Forget every other traditional sport. Those are for the weak. Nobody wants them. UFC is the world's premier mixed martial arts championship. It's where the best of the best, the most skilled fighters in the world go to compete. UFC is what WWE would be if it were actually genuine. Two fighters with little to no limits on technique go to try to take the other down. It is by far the most realistic fighting sport in existence, and it deserves more attention. Here are our top reasons why you should watch the UFC.
Reason number 1, the authenticity of the sport. Unlike WWE, or even boxing in a sense, UFC is based off two men or women going into an octagon and putting their all into earning a victory either through submission, knockout, or decision. As much as WWE might be entertaining to you as a child, as soon as you mature and realize that it's blatantly scripted, it loses all of its appeal. UFC is real. Two fighters go into the octagon without a predetermined winner and have to put their heart and soul into trying to defeat the other. When fighters actually have something to lose, they work 10 times harder, and it shows. UFC is a more authentic and realistic fighting sport than boxing as well. Boxing can be very technical and intricate, but it lacks the versatility of MMA. MMA encompasses striking, grappling, and everything in between. Boxing is only striking, and they use much heavier gloves, which makes it much less realistic. UFC uses 4-ounce gloves, meaning each hit is more powerful. UFC fighters can't afford to just take a bunch of hits with no repercussions. Boxing is not an accurate representation of real fighting. In many cases, it becomes constant hugging. UFC is by far the most authentic fighting sport, and it's the most action-packed for this reason.
UFC fighters train insanely hard in order to be in the absolute peak of human form. Sure, they may not be as strong as the world's strongest weightlifters, but they are some of the most well-rounded athletes out there. They are strong, quick, flexible, and they know how to maximize their impact with the tools at their disposal. With proper technique and targeting, it doesn't take that much power to knock out an opponent cold. These fighters also train their bodies to resist immense amounts of damage and pain. They have trained themselves to be built like a tank. You know, fighters are serious when they condition their shins by hitting them with wooden sticks so that other people will break their legs by kicking their shins. They have spent years mastering different fighting techniques from all over the world in order to be in the apex fighting form possible for a human being.
Many people might oversimplify their perception of the UFC to barbaric violence. However, it is more elegant than it may appear initially. Mixed martial arts is just that, an art form. These fighters have spent years studying and mastering different techniques that they have been studied for centuries around the world. UFC is far more intricate and honorable than a street fight. These fighters volunteer to step into the octagon and give it their all to win. They can submit and leave at any time, but they choose to stay and fight. Reason number 3, UFC is an amazing melting pot for different cultures. I would agree that it is a great platform for both men and women of any race, religion, or creed. There are reigning champions for each of the populated continents. The sport is entirely based on if you have to put in the work to earn a victory over another person in combat. There are no bias or handicaps. It's how much you work one fighter puts in versus how much another fighter puts in.
The drama that happens outside of the cage is half of what makes UFC interesting and engaging. Fights are much more entertaining when they're between two personalities.
Back to box. I'm gonna put box. Hey, you have to fight only box because you compete with high level guys with wrestling. I don't have to fight for money no more. Thank the Lord. You fight with small guys in.
Getting to love or hate fighters makes you more invested in the outcome of the fights, which makes the watching experience much more enjoyable. All the trash talk and drama outside of the octagon is what turns UFC from two random guys fighting into an entertaining event. And the best part is that at the end of the fight, the fighters gain a new respect for each other. There is no better way to squash the beef than a grueling 5-round cage match. At the end of the match, someone usually ends up being humbled and the conflict is resolved. Most UFC fighters show great sportsmanship and are very civil once the fight is over.
I wear this t-shirt, Dustin to a lot of charity stuff. Why we have so much respect between us before the fight? MMA is number one thing, is respect. MMA is not all about trash talking. No, this is what we show with Dustin Porter and his great team.
They have a killer instinct when inside the ring, but they make sure to always leave inside the ring. Well, most of them do anyways.
Dragon energy. When I see you, you're dead. You're dead. I ain't playing. I was playing before. Hey, guess what I was playing before? I ain't playing before. I ain't playing anymore. I'm serious now. I'm serious now. I'm
Game
serious.
of Thrones out here,
Wait till I see you
Dragon
next
energy,
time.
huh?
Wait till I see you next
All right.
time. You're on borrowed time.
Okay.
The last reason that every person should get into UFC is the sense of community involved in this sport. There hasn't been a single UFC fight that I haven't watched with either friends or family. The amount of emotion that gets involved in watching a fight between two people is quite intense. When I started watching UFC, it began with me and my dad in our living room watching a fight. As time passed, I began to invite more of my friends over for soup and fights. The night would be full of shouting and laughing as me and my friends either rooted for the same person or argued on why we think a certain fighter should win. Either way, it led to us always talking about the night we shared days after the fight.
So, why should you watch UFC? For the action.
The building. The fight clock is brought to you by Modal. One of the greatest knockouts you'll ever see.
Conflict. The drama.
I'm here for smash this guy. I don't wanna
Smash me,
talk.
mate.
I
Smash me.
don't wanna.
Smash me.
I can smash
You say send location. Here it is, right here in front of you.
The resolution.
Holly looking to finish. Holly Hall is the new UFC bantamweight champion of the world.
And the apex of martial art talent and physicality.